famille belle, mais la moustache et la capucha. Sito pasanilo, milata katiki buletika. Sito pasanilo, milata katiki buletika. Sito pasanilo, milata katiki buletika. Sito pasanilo, milata katiki takatiki. Sito pasanilo, milata katiki buletika. Sito pasanilo, milata katiki buletika. Sito pasanilo, milata katiki buletika. Famille belle, mais la moustache et la capucha.
What's going on? This is your man John Fortune, your host of the Frustrated Fan Sports Show. And today I'm finally out of the lab, out of the draft lab. Had to watch a lot of film, had to rewatch film, and had to watch other film that I wasn't expecting to watch. But with that being said, I'm starting a new segment on the channel, and that segment is my all elites. My elite guys on offense and my elite guys on defense. This will shake up a lot of stuff because of the fact that I know that people are watching my channel when I talk about some of these draft guys, because people know that I'm actually watching film. But with that being said, there are going to be some guys that I know for a fact that people have been talking about and talking about and talking about. They may not be on my list. Some of this may come off as chalky to some people, but for others, this may be a touchy thing for a lot of people. And with that being said, I'm going to sit up here and get into my whole thing. Now, this is the first level of housekeeping that I'm going to do. First thing, the guy had to play the position. That was one of my things. The guy had to play the position. He couldn't be somebody that is projected to play the position. He had to play the actual position in college. Here's another thing. If a guy played two ways, and I know a lot of you are going to sit up there and be like, John, we know who this is. I get it. But if a guy played two ways and he's elite at both ways, understand that he will get consideration at not only on the offensive side of the ball, but also the defensive side of the ball. And with that being said, I'm going to start off with my all elites. Now, I went with a 12 personnel formation when it came to my offense. The reason why was because I felt that the tight end class is a very good class, and it's fairly underrated as a class. It has a lot of very solid guys in there. Some of the guys, you can kind of tell that they're probably really good at one particular thing, but there are a lot of guys in this tight end class that is actually very good. And that probably took me some time to really weed out which ones I thought were better. But again, that's why I'm going with the 12 personnel, because I feel that the tight end class this season is one of the top classes, along, of course, with the running back class, the wide receiver class, and it's going to shock a lot of y'all, the cornerback class is very is high up there for me as one of the good classes in this upcoming draft. So with that being said, I'm going to start right from the top. So I'm going to start with my left tackle. So my left tackle out of Ohio State is going to be Donovan Jackson. We saw Donovan Jackson make a very good transition from the left guard position to the left tackle position and do an excellent job at that. I mean, he said, and understand, Josh Simmons was supposed to be the full-time left tackle. But even with Josh Simmons supposedly to be that, Donovan Jackson stepped in and did a hell of a job playing left tackle. And to be quite honest, I mean, going into the NFL, if he's smart, he would definitely go in as a tackle and not as a guard. He has the benefit of being able to say he plays guard, and he plays guard very well. But when it comes to all the tackles, the left tackles in this class, hands down to me, Donovan Jackson is the best. I mean, you see everything about him. There are three things that, for me, I love in offensive tackles. One is intelligence, one is agility, and the last one for me is aggression. And all the guys on my list have those in spades. But like I said, Donovan Jackson, I love him. I think he's my all-elite guy on offense at left tackle. At left guard, out of Texas, is Hayden Conner, the right guard out of Texas. again, this was a really close one because I really wanted to go with Tyler Booker out of Alabama, but I just felt that Hayden Connor's film just looks better because there were a lot of times he was being pulled a lot when it came to all types of running plays, passing plays. There was one game where he's pulled just to block on the right side of the line. He's pulled from the left side of the line to block an edge guy on the right side of the line. So that for me is impressive skill. And the fact that they understood that he was athletic enough to get from the right side from the left side to the right side as quickly as he did, and to make that block, that was pretty incredible. And like I said again, Tyler Booker was very close to getting this spot, but like I said, Hayden's ability to pull like he does and play with that aggressive nature, I had to go with Hayden Connor. At center is probably one of the nastiest centers that I've seen, but he's also one of the more intelligent centers in this class. And that's Texas center Jake Majors. This center class isn't the strongest class when you talk about size and a lot of things that you like in the guys. We saw a lot of guys kind of get bullied a little bit, but with all that being said, Jake Majors is the best of them all. And not only that, he's the type of guy that does everything in his power to bully back. And he does a really good job at it. He also does a fantastic job of calling out protections. There were plenty of times. One game in particular, the Arkansas game, he was calling out some massive. I mean, he was doing an incredible job calling out some really, really good blocking schemes and stuff. And I mean, it was just fantastic how good he was doing it. And like I said, he's a guy that wants to try his best to bully back, and he does for the most part. He does sit up there and bully guys back. But again, this isn't the strongest center class. But of all of them, Jake Majors for me is the best. At right guard out of South Carolina is Torricelli Simpkins III. Again, when you talk about aggression and intelligence and agility, this guy has it in spades. And he is a tough guy to crack. South Carolina, I think it was South Carolina versus, I think it was Michigan. I could be wrong. I think it was Michigan. But Simpkins, I mean, he's just a nasty blocker. And you could tell he doesn't care. Yeah, you saw him sit up there and push guys over the pile. You saw him walk guys all the way up to like the secondary and just keep walking them all the way up there. I mean, he's got a very tough streak, and you could tell that he's a very nasty player. And I'm going to tell you, I like him a whole lot. And I understand that most people probably didn't know who he was and probably didn't really have him up their boards. But to me, Torricelli Simpkins III is a very elite right guard. And like I said, he's a nasty guy, a very, very nasty guy. He does not play. He doesn't play around, and he gets the job done. And for that, that's my right guard. At right tackle, this is probably my hardest the hardest position to deal with, because there were a lot of different guys at right tackle. Johnny Cornelius, Ahmad Membo, who I'll talk about later, or I'll talk about some other time in another video. And also Emory Jones, a guy that I like a lot as well. But my elite right tackle in this, in my whole thing, is Logan Brown, the right tackle out of Kansas. You could tell he was dealing with a slight knee injury at times. But again, this is another guy that has this aggression and this intelligence that you could just tell he wants to sit up there and just dominate people. Crazy thing about it was that he did have a bad wheel, and he was still probably one of the more athletic guys, one of the more athletic tackles in the game. And I mean, it was impressive to see him with the brace on his knee and everything like that, and him still make plays that seemed like he didn't even have a knee injury. So I was absolutely impressed with that. He kept a lot. Everybody's impressed with Jaden Daniels, but if y'all see Kansas and y'all seen Jalen Daniels, y'all will understand why he's just as impressive. But a lot of that should go to Logan Brown, who's fantastic at right tackle. So next is my wide receivers. The first wide receiver, if this guy isn't number one on everybody's board, you're just losing your mind. But Matthew Golden out of Texas, I mean, again, scheme diverse, plays very well. I honestly do think that he would have better numbers if Quinn Ewers wasn't inconsistent at very key times. There were a lot of times that, Quinn Ewers just completely missed Matthew Golden wide open coming across the field, coming across the end zone, coming across the middle of the field or going deep. Quinn Ewers just missed him. But I think that if Matthew Golden did in fact have a better quarterback at Texas, I'm pretty sure his numbers would have exploded, and he would have had a bigger amount of numbers this year in comparison to other years. And like I said, because I think he was in Houston at first, but Matthew Golden, this guy, he's my elite wide receiver number one. Wide receiver number two, of course, it's Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter just showcases that he understands routes. He understands route concepts. He understands what a receiver's going to do, what a receiver's supposed to do. Not only that, because he also plays cornerback, you can tell that he's paying attention to what a cornerback is doing. That's how he's able to beat corners when they come and press him or they try to play off of him. You can already tell that he already knows what they're going to do, so that makes him a better receiver when it comes to that. And because he does have that corner skill and he knows the nuances, the things that corners are supposed to do or that normally they fall into the trap of doing, because he's aware of that, he is an elite wide receiver. And he's been playing wide receiver for pretty much all his football life, because he also played cornerback and receiver in high school. So this is not a strange position for him, which is why he's so good at it at the college level and why he'll be good at it at the next level as well. So for that, Travis Hunter is my wide receiver too. My tight end one, I think everybody probably can see this one, but it's Tyler Warren, the tight end out of Penn State. I love the fact that he's able to line up in so many different positions. When it comes to, there's been times we've seen him line up at the end of the line. There's been times we've seen him stand up as a receiver. There's been times we saw him line up in the backfield in the H-back position. He does a very good job with all this. He's a very fantastic blocker. But again, the formations probably help with that, especially when it comes to moments where he has to block. His offensive output is very solid as well. He does go out there and makes plays. He doesn't drop a lot of the footballs that are thrown to him. So he's a fantastic guy. And for that, he is my elite number one tight end. My elite number two, this one was one where, because the tight end class has a lot of different types of guys but are still very good, this one came down to a very tough one because of the fact that I really like Gunnar Helm out of Texas, but this guy was just better than him, especially when it came to route running and catching the ball. And for that, Mitchell Evans, the tight end out of Notre Dame, is my elite tight end number two. His ability to run routes is crazy. When I watch him play, he does remind me of He kind of has that Jason Kelsey style of play. He does go out there, he blocks very well, and he's sneaky at blocking and getting into his routes, very quickly. He can also run down the sideline and catch the football running down the sideline. But again, this is one of these things that, you know, there are guys in this, there are tight ends in this draft that are very good and that are going to be great at the next level. But for right now, my elite tight end number 2, without a doubt, is Mitchell Evans out of Notre Dame. At running back, and I know this is one that a lot of people there'll be people that may attest to it, but there may be people that be like, nah, I understand this. Now, when I go for running backs, I look for guys who have all-around ability. Because I think that when you have all-around ability, that keeps you on the field more often. That means you're a 3-down back. That means you can be out there on 4th down and make a big play. That means you can line up at wide receiver and do some things. That means you're very solid in pass protection and things like that. For me, the number 1 and elite running back in this draft class for me out of Ohio State is Keion Henderson. I like him a whole hell of a lot. In fact, when you talk about all-around running backs, he's probably the best running back in this draft. I understand he does have injury concerns or injury history, but it's not like it's so awful that you wouldn't take the guy. I love Keion Henderson, and there's no way you can surpass a guy who's not only elite at running the ball, but also elite at catching the ball out the backfield. So, Keion Henderson, to me, again, another guy who's also scheme diverse. He can play in almost any scheme and be successful in every scheme. So, for me, Keion Henderson is the elite running back. At quarterback. Now, there's been a lot of talk in this quarterback realm and who's who and where they should go and how great are they and is this, that, and is this, that. I want to say this. To me, this guy shows the ability you want in a quarterback. He shows everything that you need in a quarterback and everything that could be successful as a quarterback. My elite quarterback in this upcoming NFL draft, the guy that I feel should be the number 1 pick, and the reason why is because I'll tell y'all in the not mock draft. But the number 1 guy in this to me, the elite guy, the elite quarterback in this draft is Shedeur Sanders. You watch him play, the accuracy he has on the ball, his ability to get the ball out very quickly, the fact that when he scrambles, it's at the very last minute. He gets through reads very quickly. And that's something that, you know, a lot of times fans and people don't give credit to a lot of guys when they're able to get the ball out their hands very quickly or get through reads very quickly so they can make a decision. And when it comes down to it, Shedeur Sanders, he makes some very intelligent decisions. Now, there are times where he takes stupid sacks instead of just... but this is an element where I think it goes to the next level, where he has to be aware of when to just throw the ball out of bounds. But Shedeur, when it comes down to it, does a great job. Now, before y'all even say anything, because I know it's going to be a question, what about the fact of him throwing these short passes behind the scrimmage and behind the line of scrimmage and all that? He had no choice. His offensive line got better this year, but it still wasn't the best offensive line. There were times where teams would come up and they would pressure him directly because of the fact that they knew they could kind of put pressure on that offensive line, and that would force Shedeur to either have to run or try to force a ball, throwing the ball deep down the field. But when it comes down to it, when you watch it, Shedeur has great touch on the football. He knows what he's doing with the football. Now, again, I don't know if he can read offenses, but he does a fantastic job reading defenses. He seems like he understands when something is not right and something doesn't look right, and he can find a way to beat it. He does a fantastic job with that. And for me, I'm quite impressed with Shedeur. I think Shedeur is the #1 quarterback in this draft, and he's on my elite list. Y'all tell me how y'all think. What do y'all think of my elite list? Do y'all think I'm kind of crazy when it comes to some of the guys that I selected? Do y'all agree with a lot of the guys that I selected? Is my elites a chalky list? Y'all let me know down in the comments. Tell me what y'all know. Also, if y'all want my opinion on guys that are coming out of this draft and what y'all want my honest opinion about what I think of these guys, leave that player in the comment section and I'll give you my assessment of what I think about those guys. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Other than that, like, comment, and subscribe. This has been your man, John Fortune, and this has been the Frustrated Fan Sports Show.